Good evening. I now call to order our July 8th regular scheduled Board of Commissioners meeting. Hope everybody's having a good evening today. I've asked Ben Pierce, who is the senior pastor at Fuquay-Varina Baptist Church here in Fuquay-Varina, to lead us in our invocation. But he told me to call him senior pastor, not senior because he's lived in Fuquay-Varina for a very long time, but he has. And he was telling me stories earlier about when he was a kid, and a friend of his was in the police department, and lots of good stories there. Ben, you've been involved in our community for a long time, so thank you for leading us in our coming here tonight to lead us in our invocation. And Fuquay-Varina Baptist Church does a lot of great things here in our community. And I've asked Patrick Petty with our IT department, senior administrator, to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance tonight. And Patrick will be recognized also tonight, and he's going to do a great job for that too. So thank you both for being here. If y'all would please stand.
Father, we do come before you right now and just pause and thank you for all your many blessings. Lord, I thank you for this town and what it's meant to me through the years as I grew up here. And Lord, I thank you for this town council, and I just pray for them that you would give them wisdom, give them insight. Father, we know that all wisdom is found in Christ. And so, Lord, I just pray for each and every one of them. They would have that wisdom that is from above, the wisdom that is first peaceable and gentle. And Lord, give them insight into how they should act and how they should react and how they should vote. And Lord, thank you so much for this town, for the citizens. Lord, we pray for the protection. I thank you so much for our police department and our fire department. And I just ask that you would just bless them in so many ways of how they sacrifice of themselves and give of themselves to protect us each and every day. Father, we do stop and we praise you for all your many blessings that you have poured out over Fuquay-Varina. Lord, continue. May we be a blessing to you as well, but continue to bless us tonight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
If you could join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you both very much tonight. At this time, I ask Town Manager Mitchell to review the meeting protocol for public participation as it relates to this meeting. Adam, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, board members. It's good to be with you for our one meeting in July 8th. Tonight's town board meeting is both in person and live streamed on the town's YouTube channel and Facebook page. Tonight's meeting contains a public comment period and 3 scheduled public hearings. The public is invited to comment in person. When it is the appropriate time, Mayor Massengill will call on those wishing to address the town board. All attendees that have appeared in person to address the town board during the public comment period should provide your name and address on the green registration sheet by the podium prior to the public comment period beginning. All attendees that have appeared in person to address the town board during a scheduled public hearing should provide your name and address on the white registration sheet by the podium. We ask all those wishing to address the town board either during the public comment period or a scheduled public hearing to begin their comments by clearly stating their name and address for the public record. The public is asked to keep all comments to 3 minutes so that all that wish to speak may be heard in a timely manner. To be respectful of those that may have different views on matters addressed by the town board, we ask that all in attendance respect the decorum of this meeting by refraining from clapping, making loud noises, and generally showing support or displeasure for comments made during the public comment period or scheduled public hearings. Acting Police Chief Tim Smith will be asked to escort from the boardroom anyone not respecting the process, and it is the discretion of the mayor as presiding officer of this meeting to continue the public comment and or public hearing period if the meeting protocol is not followed. This concludes the protocol for tonight's meeting. Mayor?
Thank you, Manager. First item of business tonight is the approval of the minutes from the June 18th, 2024 regular scheduled board meeting. Any changes, additions, or corrections to the minutes? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd motion that we approve them as presented.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. First item of business tonight is a presentation, the administration of the oath of office for Eva Mayfield, Deputy Town Clerk. Eva? Recent. I really deafened you, wouldn't it? I told it way out right there. Recently, I had the honor of Teresa Wilder, the oath of office for her to be our town clerk, and she was a deputy town clerk beforehand, and this gave the opportunity for Eva to become our new deputy town clerk. And so, Eva, thank you for willing to be Fuquay-Varina's deputy town clerk, and let's read you your oath of office and make you official. Solemnly and sincerely swear Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are or may be established for the government thereof.
Will be faithful and bear true allegiance.
That I will endeavor to support, maintain, the Constitution of the United States. Congratulations. Next item on our agenda is a presentation, item 4B, Hilltop Nemore Town Park Community Center Construction Update. More information about the agenda item will be presented by Parks and Recreation Director Cox. Jonathan, good evening.
Good evening, Board. Hope all is well.
Jonathan, before we get going, I got to pay you and your team a compliment, so everybody that's in the meeting still can hear this. We had our July Independence Day celebration last week, and your team did a lot of hard work along many departments here, but a lot of hard work right there at our community center putting that on. And I had a ton of compliments from the public about how much they enjoyed that night. You really did a good job, and your entire department did a good job. So please share those words with them. The town, not just us, but the community and citizens really had a good time.
Thank you so much. I'll share that with staff. Good evening. The purpose of this presentation is to provide an update on the construction of Hilltop Nemore Town Park Community Center since the groundbreaking ceremony on September 15th, 2023. The Hilltop Nemore Town Park Community Center is a 77,000 square foot multi-generational facility that will be located at 4525 Hilltop Nemore Road. The community center will offer a number of quality of life amenities that include 3 gymnasiums that will provide opportunities for basketball, volleyball, and pickleball, 2 racquetball courts, a suspended walking track, program spaces that include a teaching kitchen, multi-purpose rooms, arts and crafts room, and an exercise weight room. In addition, the community center includes an active adult wing that also offers a lounge, an exercise studio, an arts and crafts room, and a gathering corridor. Currently, all structural steel and roofing is complete. All exterior glazing and mullions are anticipated to be completed by the end of July. All interior framing and non-load-bearing CMU walls are complete. MEP rough ends are complete. Drywall and primer paint coats are underway. Hilltop-Needmore Town Park Community Center completion is anticipated in early 2025. At this time, I'd like to share a progress video of the construction, and afterwards, I'll be happy to answer any questions the board might have. I'll be happy to answer any questions the board might have.
Jonathan, it's coming right along.
It is.
And this project has been a very fast-paced project from the time it started with community feedback and going straight to financing the project and moving forward on it. I know, as you mentioned, early 2025 is when it's going to be opened. And I think that the can't come quick enough for the community. The trails will be open at that point. The indoor opportunities for just reminding a few highlights in there: indoor walking trail, the active adult component, all the indoor courts to play on pickleball also,
absolutely.
for instance. And building is going to be really a good attribute to our community. Any questions or comments from board members?
It's a good-looking building. I love the windows all across.
The design of that building came from public input. You know, one thing a lot of our users experience now in the existing community center, there's not a lot of natural light. So our architect recognized that and went to the extreme with the glass on the front of the building. So it's a very open building.
You built a good work. Tell the FIST to hurry up.
I'll do my best. Thank you so much. Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Jonathan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next presentation will be recognition of Officer Williscroft, Crisis Intervention Team, CIT Awards. More information about this agenda item will be presented by Acting Police Chief Smith. Tim, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. So tonight, Officer Brian Williscroft is being recognized for recently being awarded 2 Crisis Intervention Team awards. Officer Brian Williscroft finished Crisis Intervention Team training on August 12th, 2022. Recognizing the necessity of linking mental health resources with consumers, he presented a plan to his chain of command outlining how to achieve this goal. On October 8th, 2022, Officer Williscroft organized a free mental health awareness event at the Fuquay-Varina Growers Market. Over 20 mental health organizations participated, providing information to the community. The event was a tremendous success. On October 14th, 2023, Officer Williscroft organized the second annual Free Mental Health Awareness event. This event, larger than the one in 2022, was held at the Wake County Southern Regional Center in partnership with the Fuquay-Varina Police Department. Plans are already underway for the third annual event, with hopes of making it even bigger than the previous years. So for these mental health awareness events that Officer Williscroft set up, on June 12, 2024, Officer Williscroft received the state-level CIT Officer of the Year Award from National Alliance of Mental Health, North Carolina, for his exceptional work in creating mental health awareness events. And again, on June 20th, 2024, he was honored with a second CIT award presented by NAMI Wake. So congratulations to Officer Brian Williscroft for being named CIT Officer of the Year and CIT Officer for Wake County. CIT Officer of the Year. Congratulations, sir.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
Thank you.
Oh. Officer Williscroft, thank you, first of all, for taking the time to continue your training and have opportunities to help our community right there. This board and myself has been very big supporters of the opportunities when town staff takes to be able to continue their education and their training right here, and this makes a difference. And this is not the first time that you've been here to be able to share with some of the great things that you're doing in our community. I know you have your wife and children in the audience here with you tonight, and so you're invested here and you care, and it means a lot. And as you see, for those in the room, the other police officers that are in the room tonight are not required to be here, but they come because they support him, and that shows a good family right there. Also, in addition to your home family, work family that supports you and respects you right there with your peers. So thank you for what you're doing and continue to do that. It means a lot to all of us. We love to all come
Mr.
down.
Mayor, may I
After
make a comment?
Commissioner Harris wants to make a comment after that, if you would, please come in here. We'd love to
I'd
all
just like
shake your
to
hand.
compliment Officer Williscroft as well. I worked for years with the Department of Mental Health, the Division of Mental Health, and one of the things that we recognized is the challenge as far as law enforcement when called upon to de-escalate certain situations, and to know that we have that training here in Fuquay-Varina. We're very fortunate, and I just want to, again, congratulate you.
Thank you. After you shake everybody's hand, we'll take a picture together. Would your family like to be in a picture, your wife or your two young boys? Next presentation, Item 4D, Certified Government CIO Program Graduation Recognition, Patrick Petty. More information about the agenda item will be presented by IT Director Clark. Scott, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. This agenda item is to recognize Patrick Petty's successful completion of the Certified Government CIO program from the UNC School of Government. The CIO program is the first official government-specific CIO program. It began in 2005. The program was designed for Chief Information Officers, IT Directors, and Senior IT leadership to IT leadership with the public sector's challenging responsibilities and the broad understanding of management, leadership, legal, regulatory, and enterprise topics. The course is approximately 240 hours in the length, and the course instruction covers strategic planning, effective communication, emerging technology trends, risk management, acquisition management, change management, leadership, cybersecurity, legal issues, and related to technology. This is a very extensive, exhaustive class. Myself went through it in 2010, and I use those tools that I learned in this class every single day. I believe it's made me a better director, and I got the foundation with this class. Patrick, one of 40 local government, state, and community college and K-12 leaders in the state who successfully completed the course this year. Over the course of its existence, the CIO program has graduated over 2,000 public sector leaders across the state. And so this gives, this course focused mainly on the non-technical side of IT. And I will say Patrick has already taken some of the things that he's learned in the class and is applying them. Some things are, like asking the departments what they think about IT and how we can improve it is something that's not, rip the Band-Aid off, and it's not kind of pleasant to hear some of the bad things, but we can improve our operations, and it makes the department better in the long run, and the organization better. So I'd like to thank Patrick for taking this challenge on and passing successfully.
Patrick, thank you for taking the opportunity to go to school. I mean, the amount of time that goes through this course, just as Scott mentioned right there, is a lot of time right there. And that's time that you are spent away from the office, away from your family, working on continuing your education and bettering yourself right there. And just as Scott, Director Clark mentioned, as you bring back opportunities here for Fuquay-Varina to continue to improve, IT continues to be a very, very important department for Fuquay-Varina. We'll continue to only get more and more important as everything goes more digital, and then as we deal with the threats that y'all have to be aware of at the same time. And so thank you for working hard right there. Thank you for continuing to do that. Just as I asked you earlier tonight to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, thank you for what you do for Fuquay-Varina. This board appreciates you very much. We'd love to all shake your hand, please. Take a picture with you.
Eat it that way.
Next item on our agenda is the public comment period. At this time, the town clerk will call on individuals that are in attendance and have registered to address the town board prior to the meeting. The public comment period is a time for the public to address the town board on any matter that is not the subject of a scheduled public hearing. Those speaking are asked to begin by clearly stating your name and address for the public record. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes in order that all who wish to speak may be heard in a timely manner. Teresa, do you have anybody signed up?
Emily Holloway.
Emily, come forward. Welcome.
Good evening. My name's Emily Holloway. I live at 312 Andrew Road. I came tonight to talk about roads. And first, I would like to commend the town board for striping the road on Broad Street in front of the Harris Teeter. I had talked about it with the town, and then I mentioned it to Brian and another commissioner, and it finally got accomplished. It was a very dangerous intersection. There were no lines at all on the road to turn in and out of that Harris Teeter Shopping Center, and now it's striped. And so I'm very appreciative that that happened. So thank you for that. My next point is about the street mile-per-hour signs. I live in town on Andrew Road, and there's a large discrepancy in the mile-per-hour signs. If you come off of East Vance Street in front of the fire department, you go around the curve to go down to Andrew Road, it says 25 miles per hour curve, and then immediately goes to 35 miles per hour. We have a lot of people speeding. I'd like to request that we could get a 25 mile per hour left in place until East Spring Street, where it becomes 35 miles per hour. Ennis, we all know Ennis Road, it's 25 miles per hour. Aiken Parkway is 25 miles per hour. Raleigh Street and East Spring Street are both marked 35 miles per hour, which is the same speed limit as Academy, which is absurd because it's a residential area. Fuquay Avenue goes from 25 miles per hour to 20 miles per hour when you should get into town. So Ballantyne Road, which runs parallel to East Spring Street, is 25 miles per hour. So there's no reason that Spring Street should be 35 miles per hour. It's just, I think that the town could take time and go around and see and try and get a consistency in the miles per hour, especially on like Raleigh Street, where people speed down that hill, Vance Street, where they speed down that hill, it should be 25 miles per hour, not 35. So I just would like to make that recommendation that somebody could take the time to go around and try and get that consistent in town. There's no reason for people to be driving 35 miles per hour on these residential streets, especially since Academy is 35 miles per hour and Ennis is 25 miles per hour. My third point, I'd just like to bring up the semi-trucks that still run through town, downtown Varina, downtown Fuquay. I was in Varina last week or 2 weeks ago, and a Dollar General semi went through, a Food Line semi went through, and I thought that we built Judd Parkway to get those trucks off of the main city town streets. And I don't know if it's possible, but I would like to have somebody look at that. I know those trucks have to go in for deliveries in certain instances in construction, but if they could post a sign that said semis or trucks over a certain size need to be using Judd Parkway to circle the town, rather than going through the communities. If you're having lunch at, like, say, Neil's outside and those trucks start coming through one after another, you can't even hear yourself talk. So it's hard on the roads, it's hard on the pedestrians, and I really think that we should encourage these vehicles to use Judd Parkway rather than coming through town. I was told at one time that I should be contacting the companies and telling them not to do it, but I don't think that would work. So hopefully you'll take that into consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for being here tonight, and thank you for your comments. Teresa, have anybody else signed up? In regards to those comments, ma'am, those are some things that staff is already working on at, what's her name, Teresa?
Emily Holloway.
Ms. Holloway, in regards to your comments, those are some things at this time that staff is working on already. Just as you talked about local trucks in town previously with Judd Parkway, until Judd Parkway got finished with some of these intersection improvements we've been doing recently in front of the community center, big trucks could not make some of those turns. But now that the intersection's about to be done, staff's been having conversations with DOT about those types of no local trucks only type situations. And also, in regards to speed limits, staff has been looking at that also for some of those consistency areas. So that plan is also already in the works. As you know, not to make the excuse of DOT, but often that's where we find a discrepancy. DOT set the speed limit on one road, and then the town roads have been different, but staff is working on both those items right now. So thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for being here. There are no items tabled from previous meetings. Next, we have public hearings. Public hearings are a time for the petitioner to present his or her request and for the public to give input and voice their favor or opposition to the request. If you wish to speak and are physically in attendance, please step toward the podium one at a time. Provide your name and address on the registration log at the podium and clearly state your name and address for the public record. We ask all those addressing the town board to please limit your comments to 3 minutes in order that all who wish to speak may be heard in a timely manner. First public hearing, item 7A, Water and Wastewater System Development Fee Analysis Report and Fee Schedule Ordinance. More information about this agenda item will be presented by Public Utilities Director Wagner. Mike, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. This item is to consider the approval of water and wastewater system development fee analysis and the associated fee schedule. Analysis is required by North Carolina General Statute 162A, Article 8, every 5 years or upon any reevaluation or increase, decrease in fees. With that, House Bill 436 also requires the system development fee analysis to be posted for public comment for a 45-day period in review. To date, we had not received any public comments on the proposed increases to the system development fees. The current water rate is $3,912, and Santac recommends that we increase this water system development fee $1,017 to $4,929, and the current sewer SDF rate is $3,891. Santac recommends that we increase that $599 to $4,490. That recommended increase is reflected in the fee schedule and will potentially bring us in some additional revenues to pay for our projects and debt service. The motion for the public hearing that staff and management recommend is to adopt the water and wastewater system development fee analysis and associated ordinance amending the fiscal year 2024-2025 fee schedule as presented and recommended. And I'm available for any questions if you have.
Questions before public hearing? Okay, we'll host a public hearing. Mike, thank you. The hearing is now open. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of the water and wastewater system development fee analysis report and fee schedule ordinance? Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to the water and wastewater system development fee analysis report and fee schedule ordinance? That's a mouthful. The hearing is now closed. Any discussion by the board? What's the pleasure of the board? Mike, I know we've been running you've been, as the board has approved new water and wastewater facilities, we have had a combination, as you mentioned earlier, of rate analysis that were done to it on what the recommended cost would be. And this is a program that follows the state law, as we talked about before, with lawsuits across the state in regards to it. And this allows us to legally charge builders and developers the maximum that we can charge them, correct?
That is correct.
And so therefore, which we also have a portion of our system that's paid by the users. The users pay a portion, but this ensures that a maximum that we can legally charge builders and developers are charged a maximum.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go ahead and entertain a motion.
Mayor Massengill, I move that we adopt the water and wastewater system development fee analysis and associated ordinance amending the fiscal year 2024-2025 fee schedule as presented and recommended.
Second.
I have a motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next public hearing, item 7B, voluntary annexation petition, Donald H. Buffalo, a portion of 7453 Kennebec Road, Willis Spring, ANX 2023-14. Are we going to continue this public hearing on this, Pamela, or is this going and open it and continue it, or how would you like to do that?
Right, yeah. Although the public hearing for the annexation of 7453 Kennebec Road was scheduled for tonight, the petitioner is requesting it to be postponed to August 5th in order to keep the annexation aligned with the rezoning request. So the suggested motion tonight is to continue the public hearing and table consideration of the annexation ordinance to extend the corporate limits of the town of Fuquay-Varina to include property owned by Donald H. Buffalo, ANX 2023-14, and the declaration of annexation agreements to the August 5th, 2024 Town Board meeting per the request of the applicant.
Okay, so we're going to open the public hearing at this point, and then we're going to continue. All right, that's what I thought. We'll continue it. Does anyone here, if anyone came here tonight to speak in regards to this item, this public hearing is continued, and so in the future, it will be back on our agenda and be a perfect time to share any thoughts you may have for it or against it on any side. Okay, the hearing is now open. We'll entertain a motion to continue the public hearing.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, public hearing is continued for a future date. Next item, 7C, voluntary annexation petition, Tenjin Broadwell Family LLC and Cairo LLC, 6195, 6199, and 6209 Johnson Pond Road, ANX 2024-05. More information about the agenda item will be presented by Planning Director Davison. Pam, your turn
Thanks.
again.
I'm submitting the agenda abstract and supporting documents into the official records of the town. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider an annexation ordinance extending the corporate limits of the town of Fuquay-Varina following receipt of a petition for voluntary annexation of the property located at 6195, 6199, and 6209 Johnson Pond Road, owned by the Tenjin Broadwell Family LLC and Cairo LLC. The 9.449 acre portion of the parcel is non-contiguous to the town's corporate limits. Town water and sewer are available, and a fire flow test resulted in inadequate flow. The subject property will be served by town sanitation and recycling services. At the June 18, 2024 meeting, the town clerk certified that the petition was sufficient and met the requirements prescribed by the North Carolina General Statutes, and the town board adopted a resolution setting a public hearing for tonight's town board meeting. The present total value of the property being annexed is $273,880. The suggested motion tonight is to adopt the annexation ordinance to extend the corporate limits of the town of Fuquay-Varina to include property owned by the Tenjin Broadwell Family LLC and Cairo LLC, ANX 2024-05, as presented and recommended. I'm available for any questions.
Okay, I don't have any questions at this time. We'll open a hearing. The hearing is now open. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of the voluntary annexation petition?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, board members. Wayne Malden, Watkins Surveying, 139 North Main Street here in Fuquay. And we put this annexation petition together for the Broadwell family that you have before you tonight. Basically, it's a small piece of property that is left over behind Johnson Pond Dam and the old Johnson Pond Road. As the development has occurred out there on their land, they do have water and sewer available now, and we would like to be annexed to be able to use those services. Be glad to try and answer any questions if you have any. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. Does anyone else wish to speak in favor of the voluntary annexation petition? Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to the voluntary annexation petition? The hearing is now closed. Any discussion by the board? If not, what is the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to adopt the annexation ordinance to extend the corporate limits of the town of Fuquay-Varina to include the property owned by Tenjin Broadwell Family LLC and Cairo LLC as presented and recommended.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is our consent agenda. What's the board's pleasure on items on the consent agenda?
Motion to approve as presented, Mr. Mayor.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, 10A, Administrative Report, Contract Award, Judd Parkway Southeast at Angel Road Intersection Improvements Project. More information be provided by Engineering Director Poland. Matt, you know this is always the board's favorite topic. Anytime we can invest in our roads and infrastructure in town, so I know we're excited to be awarding this contract tonight.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Town Board members. I am submitting this agenda abstract and the supporting documents into the official record of the town. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider approving a project ordinance amendment, POA 25-01, for $1,500,000 and awarding a contract in the amount of $1,448,242 to Cardinal Civil Contracting for the construction of the intersection improvements at Judd Parkway Southeast and Andrew Road. So the scope of work consists of pavement, drainage improvements, signal upgrades, pedestrian facilities, the provision of more turn lanes. On June 27th, we received 3 bids from licensed contractors, with Cardinal Civil being the lowest responsible bidder. And we do have a fiscal note for this project. This project is part of the 2021 transportation bond projects. The bonds are expected to be issued by September of 2024. The town must give notice to proceed before bonds will be issued. The POA, or the project ordinance amendment, will adjust the total budget for this project to be $1.8 million for design and construction. And so from this image, you can see that it extends a significant amount of sidewalk down South Judd Parkway, and actually will end up connecting to a very large continuation of sidewalk from the South Judd South Main project as well. So slowly but surely, we're filling in quite a few spaces, or quite a few voids of sidewalk along Judd Parkway. And with that tonight, we have a motion to approve the project ordinance amendment 2501 for $1,500,000 and award a contract to Cardinal Civil Contract in the amount of $1,448,242 and authorize the town manager to execute the contract on behalf of the town for the Judd Parkway Southeast at Andrew Road Intersection Improvements Project, subject to the town attorney's review as to form. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Matt, this is a project that we had, the board had designated, and you were able to fast track, move it through pretty quick to get approvals and get it to construction, and that shows a difference. As you've heard us in this room discuss before, when you're able to run with a project quickly and not have to deal with the state and federal government, which state and federal government do provide funds, and we like their money, but they're very slow to pay and delay projects. And so this intersection has been a problematic intersection, and we've had a lot of safety concerns and traffic that backs up here, and so it's really gonna make a difference right there. Don't need to hold you up. Let's get to construction. We'll entertain a motion. So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Yeah, I believe you mentioned earlier, and I remember reading the abstract, about 12 months to get the project done.
It'll be about 12 months. We'll start late August, and it'll be about 12 months to get the project done.
Perfect timing to start that one with the Judd and Main at the community center just finishing up.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Matt.
Yep.
We had, do we vote? We had a motion second. All in favor say aye. Do we vote or not?
Call the question.
I did. I heard somebody said so moved in a second.
So moved.
Yeah. I heard
And
that already.
Commissioner Gardner second.
And she
Or
seconded
Mayor
it. Did y'all vote?
Yeah, we voted.
All right. Teresa, did they vote?
Yeah, Jason and Marilyn.
All right. But did we vote?
Yes.
I don't think so. Mm-mm. You didn't say.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
There you
Any
go.
opposed? Motion carries. We're so excited to get you working out there, Matt. We're holding it up.
All
Lord
good.
have mercy. Thank you, Matt. Item 10B, Administrative Report, Resolutions and Project Ordinance Amendment POA-25-03, Sanford Water Filtration Facility Funding, ARPA and State Revolving Funds or Revenue Bonds. More information about the agenda item will be presented by Public Utilities Director Wagner.
Good evening again, Mayor and Commissioners. This is to consider the resolutions accepting the American Rescue Plan Act funds and state revolving funds and the project ordinance amendment 25-03, recognizing revenue bond proceeds for the Sanford Water Filtration Facility Expansion Project. A year ago tomorrow, we signed interlocal agreement and construction management agreements for this project with the towns of Pittsboro, Holly Springs, and the city of Sanford. And here we are a year later, getting ready to finally award contracts and hopefully break ground over the next couple months. This total bid of all of the construction projects ended up being a little over $390 million, and the town's portion of that $390 million will be $135,204,371. These in order to pay for this project, we're looking to recognize the revenue bond sale proceeds, the SRF funds, the ARPA funds, and some state appropriations. Management and staff's recommendation is a motion to adopt the American Rescue Plan Act and State Revolving Fund acceptance resolutions, and approve the project ordinance amendment POA-25-03 as presented and recommended, subject to the town attorney review as to form and the local government commission's approval as to form. Do you have any questions?
Any questions by board members? No further questions? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
I move that we adopt the American Rescue Plan Act and state revolving funds acceptance resolutions and approve project ordinance amendment POA 25-03 as presented and recommended, subject to town attorney review as to form and local government commission approval as to form.
Second.
We have a motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mike. Item 10C, interlocal agreement, Sanford Water Filtration Facility Conveyance Line, Town of Fuquay-Varina and Town of Holly Springs. More information about this agenda item will be presented by Public Utilities Director Wagner. Mike, you're gonna make Pam jealous.
Yes, and I'm making Matt jealous with the funds, so.
That's right.
And so we've addressed the water filtration facility. Now we have to address conveying the water here. So I have for consideration the approval of the interlocal agreement between Fuquay-Varina and Holly Springs for the construction, operations, and maintenance, and the ownership of the conveyance line. Again, the ILA and CMA were approved July 10th of 2023 for the construction of the plant. The conveyance line will be a 36-inch line that will convey up to 16 million gallons of water a day. Initially, the town of Fuquay-Varina will have 6 million gallons a day, and Holly Springs will have 4 million gallons a day, and ultimately we'll have the opportunity to expand to 10 million gallons a day. The conveyance line ownership will ultimately be a proportion of that 10 million versus the 16 million gallons per day. The Fuquay-Varina's portion is 62.5%, and Holly Springs' portion is 37.5%. We hope to bid the project in early 2025. It'll be bid in 3 projects, and we ultimately hope to get under construction and get that underway to meet a 18 million gallon a day milestone with the construction of the plant, so that we can get the water here and continue our development and expansion of the plant. This estimated total project cost is $142 million. Of that, Fuquay-Varina's estimated portion is $90 million, and Holly Springs' estimated portion is $52 million. It should be noted that of the $90 million, we did receive a state appropriation grant from Representative Aaron Paré for $28.6 million to use towards our portion of the conveyance line project. So management and staff's recommendation is to approve the interlocal agreement between the town of Fuquay-Varina and the town of Holly Springs as presented and recommended, and authorize the town manager to execute the agreement as presented and recommended, subject to town attorney review as to form. Do you have any questions?
You know, receiving $28 million from the state government in this situation, Mike, does not slow down a project. And $28 million is a heck of a lot of money. That's the largest we've ever gotten for a single project in town. Is that correct?
That is my understanding, yes.
Incredible. Okay. I have an entertaining motion. So moved, if you like.
So moved.
We have a motion. We have a second. Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 10D, bond order $75 million, 2024B, utility revenue bonds. More information about agenda item will be presented by Finance Director Crabtree. Joanne,
Good evening.
we got these projects approved, and now your turn to fund the project.
Now it's my turn, yeah. This is the last step to get the bond order approved, final approval for the not to exceed $75 million for the revenue bonds. LGC will actually have their meeting tomorrow to vote on the whole project, so it's not just Fuquay-Varina that will be there, but Holly Springs and Sanford as well for this project, because it is a regional project. So Tonight, the recommendation is to approve the attached bond order and series resolution authorizing the issuance of up to $75 million in water and sewer revenue bonds for the Sanford Water Plant and expansion and other water system improvements. If you have any questions, basically this order is giving us our marching orders to make all of this happen.
Now, this is a lot of money.
Yes, sir.
The bond rating agencies, how do you think they will view us taking on this much additional debt?
Go ahead.
Let me handle that one. If I can.
Are we?
It's a good question. Back in November, we met with the rating agencies to sort of set the stage for all of the investments that we plan to make with our CIP through water and sewer over the next 5 to 10 years. At that time, the rating agencies affirmed our ratings, both Standard & Poor's and Moody's affirmed our existing ratings, which were very strong ratings, which helped to go out to market and borrow at the lowest interest rate possible. Since then, we have had a secondary follow-up meeting. And again, it's been town staff, our bond counsel, our financial advisors, the mayor, representing the elected officials, attending these meetings. And we just found out last week that Moody's, and this is a big deal, we've always had for our general obligation bonds through Standard & Poor's AAA rating. Then we got that in 2014. That was a big achievement, a big accomplishment for the town, putting us in sort of a rare air with other larger cities in North Carolina that have that unique bond rating. Moody's has always been the tougher of the rating agencies to achieve a AAA bond rating for general obligation bonds, and then they have typically a little bit lower standard for utility revenue bonds and for limited obligation bonds. We just found out last week, I was planning to mention it during manager comments, but since you asked the question, Commissioner, no time better than the present. We found out last week from Moody's that they have upgraded our general obligation bond rating to AAA. They have upgraded our limited obligation bond rating to AA1, and they have affirmed our utility revenue bond rating at AA2. So big advancement for the town. There's not that many communities in North Carolina or around the country that have both AAA bond ratings from dual rating agencies. We are in a unique but wonderful position, a rare position, and one that should demonstrate and prove to our ratepayers that we're being excellent stewards of the town's money. And I have to give both Joanne and Mike the majority credit, along with our financial advisors. They've been with us lockstep along the way, and Bob Jessup, our bond counsel, who's in the room here tonight. But definitely got to give Joanne and Mike credit for setting the stage so that we could get these bond upgrades, these rating upgrades. So to answer your question in a short manner, the rating agencies viewed this borrowing very favorably, and they view that we have an excellent plan of action on how we're going to afford to pay the debt service from these borrowings.
And being partnered with Holly Springs didn't bring us down too much?
No, did not. No, sir.
That is great news, and we're glad to have those ratings, and that helps us borrow money at the most cheapest rates that we can by having those high ratings. But what's good to know is we continue to borrow money that we're also not turning around and reducing our credit ratings. We're improving our credit ratings.
We are.
And they listed us as stable, and they will be watching as far as, they know the projects that we have coming up, and so they will be watching, and will adjust. But I think just like the system development fees that we approved tonight, to have the developers help in a portion of the capacity that we need, so that will also help in funding all that. So anyway.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. We'll entertain a motion. So moved, either one.
So moved.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Other business, town manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. One less thing to mention in my report because we got it out of the way, but nonetheless, excellent news. The North Carolina 55 Broad Street and James Slaughter Road intersection improvements are currently being advertised for construction, and the bids will be opened on July 25th, and they'll be, the plan, if everything goes like we hope, will be presented to the town board at the August 5th meeting for your consideration for awarding that contract. So you're beginning to see that we're chipping away at these transportation projects and getting them under construction, which has been the plan all along. Southwest Judd Parkway Waterline Loop is progressing well. They hope to be boring the final leg and making the connection into West Academy over the next 2 weeks. Ransdell Road waterline replacement is also underway. The contractor has an approved NCDOT detour plan between North Street and Bengal Boulevard over to Stewart Street, and residents and businesses will continue to have access to their properties. We hired Elijah Dennis and Jared Harris to fill open debris collection and equipment operator positions in our debris collection departments. We want to welcome both Elijah and Jared on board as part of our team. Our PAL bill certification was submitted to NCDOT and has been accepted. We added over 6 miles of streets last year to our street maintenance network. Officer Derek Wilson advanced in the career ladder, from Police Officer 1 to Police Officer 2. So we want to congratulate Officer Wilson for that career development advancement. And in addition, today, the mayor gave the oath of office to 2 new officers that were sworn in today, Hannah Borsak and Ethan Henderson. And we want to welcome both Hannah and Ethan to our police department team. As it relates to human resources, Robin Savage has been hired as our human resource analyst. She has over 10 years of HR experience in benefits and payroll. Additionally, the Human Resources Department recently completed open enrollment, and all of those changes were put into effect with the most recent payroll to our employees last week. That's a pretty massive undertaking that our Human Resources Department has to do annually. We want to thank Wendy and her team for the great work that they did to get those in place on time. Since our last board meeting, there was a ribbon cutting, several ribbon cuttings, but one of particular note at Wake Med at the Medical Office Building. This ribbon cutting was sponsored by both the Chamber of Commerce and Wake Med. It was a fantastic event. Mayor Pro Tem Gardner did an excellent job delivering remarks on behalf of Mayor Massengale and the town. And just a nice way to kick off a wonderful medical facility in our community. We know our residents are going to benefit greatly from that. Also, since our last board meeting, the events hosted by the Manifest Committee in recognition of Juneteenth, those were well attended and went very well. Congratulations to the Manifest Planning Committee on their success this year. And I want to just recognize our Art Center staff for working so well with the Planning Committee to assist in ensuring that the events at the Art Center were put on in a very professional manner. They were actually recognized by the committee themselves as well, but I also just wanted to say to you, Maureen, to you and your staff, Dave, and the rest of them, excellent job, great work. And of course, I mentioned the upgrade in bond ratings from Moody's just previously. In addition, you do have some items in your agenda listing under other business, just to draw to your attention. The police department will host the Friends with Wisdom event. If we can kind of get those slides advancing forward. This will be at Universal Healthcare on Wednesday, July 10th, this Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. Police Department will also host a cornhole tournament for a fundraiser for Special Olympics. That'll be on Saturday, July 13th, and it'll be at Southern Wake Sports Academy off of NC 55. A reminder that we will not have a second meeting in July. As is customary, this is the only board meeting tonight for the month of July. We will start back with board meetings on August 5th. Our ice cream social on National Ice Cream Day will be Sunday, July 21st from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Fuquay Mineral Spring Park. Always a nice event, and we'll have a lot of good selection of offerings there. including some snow cones as well as ice cream. So hopefully it'll be a nice warm day, but not too warm, so that we can all enjoy some cold treats out at the Mineral Spring Park. National Night Out Against Crime will be on Tuesday, August 6th from 4 to 8 p.m. And then there are some first readings in your agenda materials. A zoning map amendment for Bluff Valley Contract, submitted by Bluff Valley Contracting, 626 West Academy Street. And then another zoning map amendment and land use plan amendment submitted by the Curry Engineering Group, which is a portion of 7316 1010 Road. And then another zoning map amendment submitted by Josh Swindell with Envision Homes LLC, which is a portion of Ballantine Dairy Road, 1500, 1521 Randall Farm Road, a portion of that, 1540 Randall Farm Road, and 0 Sunset Lake Road, as well as 1528 Randall Farm Road. So several little parcels combined, or portions of parcels combined. This is a zoning map amendment. This is the first reading. And then the 2040 Comprehensive Transportation Plan update, as first reading there for your review, that will also be brought forward at the August 5th meeting for your consideration. So a lot of good information to take in between now and our August 5th meeting. I'm happy to answer any questions that the town board may have.
Questions for management? Okay. Move to town board member comments. Commissioner Harris.
Mr. Mayor, this was on the consent agenda, but I overlooked it, and I just had one question about the opioid settlement money, and I know that will be authorized, and all the municipalities in Wake County will be able to receive those funds. I just had that question I wanted to.
Yes and no. In order for us to be eligible, and for the county, more particularly, to be eligible to receive those funds, it requires the municipalities in the county to sign on. We've previously signed on to the larger national opioid settlement agreement, and this new one with Kroger has since come, and so it requires us to go through this process again as a rider or an add-on to that. The county will be the recipient of opioid settlement funds, and then the county will make a determination on how those funds are dispersed. Whether municipalities will be able to get a piece of that remains to be seen, or whether the county will just initiate county programs to benefit the communities at large within Wake County. Right now, Wake County has, as a part of their most recent fiscal year 25 budget, allocated several $1 million towards opioid prevention programs that any of the Wake County citizens can benefit from, but not necessarily funds funneling down to the individual municipalities for us to set up our own programs.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That was my question.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's all I have.
Commissioner Harris. Commissioner Adcock, any comments?
Just a comment of I appreciate all the hard work staff that the staff continues to do. Makes me proud to be part of this town. But whether it's the $75 million water bonds that we voted on tonight, or new road improvements at Andrew and Judd, just to, I'll just leave it there, just to name a few. I know those things don't happen without a whole lot of work, and so I appreciate what the staff is doing, because the growth is it's a tough thing to deal with, and I appreciate the hard work that staff is doing to help this town continue to move forward. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Adcock. I think that's very true. Commissioner Watts, any comments?
Yes, thank you. I definitely would echo that. It's exciting, and when you've served on the board for a while and you see these exciting things come to a fruition, it's very exciting to see, and thank you for all the hard work that goes into it from our staff to make this possible. I also wanted to say, and Mayor, you had mentioned it earlier, that the fireworks, Jonathan and staff, were absolutely phenomenal. It was exciting to be out there. like the mayor said, it was really exciting to hear the positive comments from the community about how great they are, and just so on and so forth, just positive all around. And it was a nice long show, and I got the opportunity to watch it with my 92-year-old grandfather. So that was, and he's seen a lot of fireworks, and he was really impressed. So thank you again for all that you do every day. And I wanted to mention, I came across this, I thought this was really cool in terms of one of our residents. We have a resident in Fuquay-Varina that will compete in the Olympics in Paris. She just qualified. And her name is Paris Benegas, and she was a qualifier in the women's BMX freestyle. And so she will be competing in the Olympics in Paris, and she is a resident of Fuquay-Varina. So I thought that was really cool, and I hope she wins it all. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Paris is head to Paris. Pretty good. Thank you, Commissioner Watts. Commissioner Haynes, any comments?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. A few things. Starting out with the manifest, as town manager said, it was a wonderful week. I can't even say a day, it was a week. I definitely enjoyed, I was busy on my birthday actually, but the manifest committee actually in their evening, at their soiree, they actually presented me with a birthday cake because I had been with them all day. So I started out with the walk, and I definitely want to thank the Fuquay-Varina Police Department for supporting that walk and helping us get all the way from Pine Acres all the way to Joyce's, all the way back. So thank you for that. As well as the Sunday program was amazing as well. Even on that day, I said I was busy on my birthday. The Growers Market kicked off their summer food program that day for our young kids being able to eat free meals on every Saturday while they're out of school. So that was amazing. Commissioner Matt Calabria was there. Our executive director of the Chamber of Commerce was there as well. So that was just a great week. Then the Independence Day celebration is always amazing. I think the one thing that people kept asking were the rides, and I said, look around. We have no space to put people. Where are we gonna put the rides? So we see we're gonna have to figure out some things in the next few years, or we're gonna outgrow South Park having those festivities. So, but it was just amazing seeing everybody on the splash pad, people singing, dancing, line dancing, everything. That was just amazing. I also had a great time on WPTF about 2 weeks ago. I was on their 4 o'clock Friday program, and just talking about the budget and everything. They asked why people need to move to Fuquay-Varina. So I gave a good old spiel about the town of Fuquay-Varina. So that was a great thing as well. And I just was excited to hear about the road improvements, because I think in months past we've heard so many people come talk about having to walk on the sides of the roads in that Judd Parkway area. So now we'll be able to see those improvements, so people will be able to walk safely on those roads. So that's just amazing. So thank you, staff, for all you do and everything you do every day. So we definitely appreciate you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Haynes. Mayor Pro Tem Gardner.
Yes, well, it was really exciting to hear that news about the Moody ratings, because we have been, for a long time since I've been on the town board, we've been at a certain level with, and not gone as fast as I wish we would. But so I was excited to hear that tonight, and I think that is definitely in a tribute to the hard work with particularly our staff and others working toward that all this time. It's really made a big difference. And tonight was just a big night. A lot of things we've been working on for a very long time, we kicked them off tonight. So thank you to everybody. It's a lot of hard work that's gone into this, particularly with the water plant regional project with our other towns that we're working with, and I'm really proud of that cooperation, and that's the way we have to look at regional issues, and we've done a good job with it. So it was a big night.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Gardner. You know, I did mention Jonathan earlier in the beginning about the Independence Day celebration, but that does take a lot of time from a variety of departments also to help your team out there. And it really turned out as a great event. Public safety, both fire department and police department had a lot of time invested in that, along with Parks and Rec right there, and other areas that work with you too. And everybody had a safe night, and or at least as safe as you can hope it can be with that many people there in one spot. I know there was a few little items here and there, but still very, very great, safe event with a lot of great attendance. Do y'all do any kind of counting, either one of y'all, about attendance or kind of spot counting groups, or any idea how it compared to the past? Because I felt like at least the past few years it was as big as I can remember in a while. Last year got rained out, so I didn't really count, but even the previous year before that. Either one of y'all, either Chief, either one of y'all, or Jonathan, anyone? I guess all three of y'all probably count.
Great question. So we took some drone footage that night, and we're still going through that footage. We're thinking somewhere between 12 to 15,000 people. We had one of the largest crowds that we've had from previous years.
That's what I was thinking, one of the largest, if not the largest in some time. And you know, as crazy as it is with the location, as was mentioned about getting bigger, but you know, we don't have, it works. At the same time, we've talked about our downtown, celebrate Fuquay-Varina in downtown, that, you know, we have no trams. People find a way to get in there, and everybody gets in there. And it's amazing when you leave there, the amount of cars that are leaving at one time and where people are going, but it continues to be a top event right there. And especially when it doesn't rain, and we can have good fireworks in the weather to cooperate everything that night. So I just thank all three of you for your involvement there, and any other departments that were involved. It's hard work. It's a great event right there. Thank you, Jonathan. We do have a closed session tonight, I believe.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Closed session is recommended pursuant to General Statute 143, 31811A3, attorney-client privilege, A4, economic development, and A5, property acquisition, real estate.
We have a motion?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. We'll go to closed session.